Today on episode 132 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, TCF Sports Minute, our weekly pick threes, the MLB season preview, and a TCF top three of MLB logos. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 132 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure you follow the Twitter main page at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram and give those pages a like. YouTube, make sure you subscribe there on the Typical Chicago Fans page for all of our content in video form. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them, we are there. Make sure to follow Zach at Z, Lilia TCF, Maddie at schools_01, and I'm on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Boys, the MLB season is officially here, but the weather does not feel like it at all.
No, rainy, crappy, cold. It's supposed
Snow.
to snow. Ugh. I'm not here for this right now.
Absolutely not. I thought we were over this, and here we are.
This is not
We're
spring
never
weather.
over it. We're never going to get out of it. It just feels like it's like a never-ending cycle. But hopefully, this weekend it's going to be somewhat decent. I think on Sunday they said so.
Let's hope.
The day you want to be,
Let's
the
hope
day
so.
you want to be inside on the TV watching round 4 of the Masters. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the snow that day. Give me the crappy weather that day.
Yeah,
I'll complain less than I normally do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But it is what it is. Let's jump into things as always with sinkers and floaters. And my sinker this week is work. I'll get to it. My floater. I am going to be off work here for a little bit, but the nation's oldest active park ranger is finally retiring at the ripe age of 100. Shout out Betty Reed Soskin. She announced Thursday she has been with the Park Service for 15 years in Richmond, California, and she has finally announced her retirement. I'll be honest, when I'm 100, I hope I've been retired for 40 years. And I don't even know if I want to live to 100, but that's a
Yeah,
different
100's
topic.
really old. 100
Yeah.
is really old.
Yeah, imagine working till you're 100. I don't know.
I guess if you love the job.
Fair.
But what makes you want to retire now?
Yeah, right. Well, I just write it out.
But I guess you're 100. That's when you go, I retire now.
Yeah, it says that she led tours at the Rosie.
To have a 100-year-old working that job?
That's a good question, Zach. But like I said, she led tours at a park and museum honoring the women who worked in factories during wartime and shared her own
walking
experience.
Around.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a super big museum, so it might be something a little bit smaller. But like she's probably more physically fit and active at 100 than I am most days at 31. So shout out her. That's a hell of a run. You got to respect a good run.
That is true. Is that all your sinker?
Yes.
We can talk about your spring break. How you're on spring break.
That's my floater. Yeah, I can give it now. I'm on spring break.
No, we're not going to talk about that right now.
I'll get to it.
My sinker is picking the right line at the grocery store. I never I go to this line, then this line is quick, and then I go to the other line, and the other line's quick. It's like I never can get to the right line where it's going to be quick. It's always the one that's like the first in front of you's got like 50, 60 groceries. I never pick the right line.
It's funny you say that, Zach. It's funny you bring that up. I was at the gas station today grabbing a drink and some chips on lunch, and I was nice and I let this guy go in front of me because he didn't think he had and more than one thing. And my line just slowed down. Apparently, he had cigarettes, some scratchers, and had to pay for his gas. Meanwhile, the register that he had come from, that I let him come in from, I think it went through like 3 people before it got to me. So I feel your pain there, brother.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I am, I got the yips maybe. I don't know.
Maddie, you seem like a guy. We've talked about how much you enjoy grocery shopping. You seem like a guy who can hunt out a good line at a grocery store.
Yeah, it's you go for the veteran cash register, cashier, the woman who knows. Like, yeah, it's all about label placement. They know where the labels are. They know how to attack the labels with the scanner. It's a system they've been doing for years. So you find the veteran cashier, and as far as bagger, you don't want too young because they don't give a shit, and frankly, you don't want the veteran bagger either. You kind of want the young up and coming hot prospect bagger. You know what I mean? Where it's like someone trying to prove themselves, maybe shooting for assistant manager someday, working hard. Knows how to pack the eggs with certain other soft, fragile items, not throwing a gallon of milk in a plastic bag with a bag of chips. Shit
Are
like
you
that,
good
what
enough
you
to
tend to see.
remember a face that you go like, hey, I remember, Susie in aisle 7 last
I'm not a
time.
name guy. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, that's fair. But I know there's a lady at the Walmart that I go to the most, and as I'm walking in, I'll take a quick peek down the rows of cashiers, and if I see she's there, I'm going to her. I don't care how long the line is. I'm going to get out of there probably faster than anybody in even a shorter line.
In my opinion, it's the two man, two woman game, whatever it may be. Veteran cashier, hot shot prospect bagger. You're good to roll. That's the line to hit.
There you go, folks. Don't say we never taught you anything. Maddie, what's your sinker this week?
My sinker, boys, and it's kind of a sad story. Obviously, it starts out with in the DC area, a young rapper was shot and killed in a burglary. It sounded like in his car. So obviously, really sad. You don't like to see young people passing away like that. Where it really took a turn, though, is his friends and family decided to honor him in a little bit different way. I heard about this story on Hard Factor, so shout out. We gave that podcast out last week as one we all liked a lot. They kind of brought this story to my attention, but yeah, this guy, friends and family decided to have a memorial for him. They got him embalmed at the morgue and all that stuff, and then they took him to a club. And
but
how
do you just take somebody like that? Isn't it when they go and do that, you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to take this person?
Yeah, you can't be like, I'm here for Bill's body. Can you throw it in the truck?
Picture of that article from TMZ here, because this was people have to see this. This guy literally propped him up, threw designer clothes on him, gave him a crown, go good night, sweet prince kind of thing, and
you know what they didn't do?
Got that one last night at the club, and everybody apparently had a good time. It seemed
$40 a head.
Wild way to honor somebody. I didn't sound like the bar knew what was going on.
No, they didn't tell the bar.
Yeah, so kind of fucked up situation to say the least. But man, if there's a way to be honored, that. I got to ask you though, if this happened to you guys, where would you want your body to be honored for a couple hours one night at?
I guess a strip club wouldn't be bad.
Lodi Tap in Utica.
There you go.
I enjoy strip club. That strip club sounds fun.
What about you, Maddie? Where do you want them to prop you up at?
I think fucking Times Square. Just right in the middle of everything, too. Just throwing everybody for a curveball,
Like with the thumbs up, just sitting there.
Yeah. Never been to New York either, at least since I was a very young child that I can remember. So I might as well just go hang out there for about 4 hours.
I finally got to New York. You just travel the world.
Yeah, people like street theater. Those people act like they sit there and human live statues for 4 hours. This is me. I'm just fucking dead.
Either that or the two restaurants in town that I eat. Shout out Marshallone's or Taco Madre. Just put me in the corner. I'm there all the time anyway. So,
but yeah, you were just
wild.
You'd be scaring the customers.
Situation here, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It is an insane. I saw that story. That is bananas.
His name was outstanding rapper name too. Gunu. I like that.
Gunu. That is a good name.
Yeah, I like that name. So,
sad
story though. Not to make light of his death or anything like that.
Apparently, this is a big thing in some Caribbean countries to do this. In Haiti, maybe the Dominican Republic, that this is not insanely
the gif of the guys dancing with the casket.
Yeah.
So that gift gets me every time too. It just hits every time. Every time you see it, you giggle.
Fair point. Let's move into our floaters. I'll start off with mine, and that's spring break. I'm on spring break till April 19th, and I'm very excited about it. So,
Yep, cool. Zach, what's yours?
the jealousy just reeks through the screen here.
Oh, speaking of that, my floater is the Lakers being eliminated from the playoffs. If you see this here, this is LeBron James. He plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. They did not make the playoffs this year.
Isn't that
But
Boomy's
did you
favorite
know-
team? They're not going to be in the playoffs?
Did you know
Oh,
that
my favorite team's in the playoff, dummy.
his second favorite team is his second favorite player. Well, his first favorite player who makes it his second favorite team, whatever team he's on.
Yeah, there's no allegiance to the actual Lakers. The allegiance is to LeBron.
That's disgusting.
That's even weirder, dude.
But
don't care.
What was I gonna say? Oh, the Lakers, every game they put like every loss, they have whatever picture they have on the scorecard or whatever, and it's never been LeBron. Not once this season has it been LeBron. It's been Malik Monk like I think 20 times.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Unfortunately for Malik, you got to put him on the losses. And I feel like they should just pick one guy and just make him the guy on all the loss. Like, we'll pay you, an extra $500,000, but you're going to be on every tweet with the loss. But yeah, no Lakers in the.
Yeah, it really makes me really sad that the Lakers aren't in the playoffs.
I'm on spring break. I'm over it.
Good for you. You were never sad. You didn't even know probably about it until you got an update on your phone.
About the Lakers?
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter last night.
That's what I thought.
Maddie, what's your floater?
All right, it's kind of been my my go-to the once a month that it seems to be happening right now. But we have a hell of a night on Saturday night in the UFC. That card, UFC 273. We get Korean Zombie, Alexander Volkanovski for the title, Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan for the title, and then the big one, Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev, the number one, probably the number one prospect in the UFC. Heavy favorite right now is on DraftKings at, I think it's about minus 510 now for Chimaev. I think he's ranked 10th or 11th. Fighting Gilbert Burns, who's, been a title contender, just recently lost to Usman, I think about 18 months ago. And, he's number 2, I think, in the welterweight rankings. So that fight is the one I really, really can't wait to see. Chimaev is just he's can't miss. So this should be a great card. And Peter Yan is Peter Yan's fucking dynamite, dude. Like that
the
guy
UFC is doing it right. The UFC is doing it right. They have just awesome after awesome event.
It's basically the NFL. It's once a week. You get a long stretch of the day. It's perfect to gamble on. It's like 15 minutes. It's just boom, boom, boom. There's no lag between the fights. I don't know shit about fighting. I don't know anything about the technical side of the fighting. All I know is I like Chimaev. He picks guys up, slams them to the ground like he did in that last fight. And, picked up Lee Jianlong or whatever, the Chinese guy, just literally carried him around the ring and was talking to Dana White saying he wants a fucking champ. Like, he's carrying a guy around and then slams him to the ground. I have to watch this guy. Like, you can't just not see something like this. And it's just, like Peter Yan and Sterling, those guys have been going back and forth at each other on Twitter for since their fight when Yan got disqualified for an illegal knee. And, those two hate each other and genuinely hate each other. Yan is nasty, dude. That dude is just a maniac. He's an unbelievable boxer, and I don't know. Should be a great night again.
Can we just talk about how amazing of a nickname the Korean Zombie is?
Yeah,
that's top level.
Too bad he's going after another good nickname in Alexander the Great too. So
yeah, well, even Volkanovski is just a great last name. Those are two top tier names. Period.
That dude's a former professional rugby player, and now he's been the 9-time title defender. And
this guy is significantly 1,000 times cooler than any of us will ever be.
He's a bad dude. Plus from Australia, he's just
is there
snakes in half and
Oh yeah,
rides
something.
crocodiles to work and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Is there something you guys think that in the human brain, at least the male human brain, that like guys punching each other in the face and like body slam? Is that just something that like we're drawn to for some reason?
But they've been doing it since the gladiator days, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
It's fun to watch.
yeah, it's always a good time to watch someone get punched in the face. So absolutely, UFC along with MLB season kicking off. But we got some other stuff we got to cover here in the TCF Sports Minute. Bulls unfortunately starting. I shouldn't say starting. Still continuing to hit the skids. 45-35. They have fallen to sixth in the East. Fortunately, they are still 2 games up on the play-in. Lonzo Ball officially done. Guys, I'm worried. I said last week I had the panic button out, but I'm hovering. My skin is making contact. I haven't pushed it yet, but it's not good.
They're not very good right now. They kind of stink right now. It's unfortunate. Lonzo Ball not going to be back. Zach LaVine still fighting that injury. It's going to be a good experience for the team making the playoffs. They won't have to worry about the play-in game. But even that, like they lost the night they clinched. Like, I don't know. This just seems like the end of the season's kind of been – it's been tough. I think they beat the top 5 teams one time, and that's insane that team is in the playoffs, but not having to play the play-in game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to be excited for the playoffs. They're most likely going to play the Bucks, which we saw how that went the other night. So not good.
I think it's a good point to be made on Twitter that a lot of people are like, everybody's saying like, oh, how disappointing the end of the season has been. Like, this is our first playoff
I'm
berth.
not disappointed. It's just
Right.
It's been a tough ending.
Right. And I think if we go ahead and look at it like in the future, like this core should be together for, a good amount of time. Like if we look at getting to the playoffs, scrapping out, 1, 2, maybe even 3 wins somehow, like being there and getting that experience as a core and, then looking for the future. But it is slightly disappointing in the fact that how the season started it to, where if it was flipped, and you struggled at the beginning and you were hitting your hottest spot right now and you climbed your way into the 5th or 6th seed instead of falling to it, you might have a little different outlook, but playoff basketball is great. We haven't seen it since Dwayne Wade was a Bulls, so or that season that he was on the Bulls. So I'll take it. Maddie, what do you got on the Bulls?
Yeah, it's I don't know. They've just kind of ripped all like hope away with the way they've played against. What was the stat that against the top 4 seeds they're 0-17 or something like that.
1-16, I think is what it was.
1-16. There you go. Like it's just like doesn't give you a whole lot of hope going to the playoffs. It'd be really nice to have Lonzo Ball. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. But they've got talent still. It's not like they don't have guys that can put the ball in the hole. So you hope they can maybe steal a series, and anything can happen after that.
Absolutely, you got to get in.
Good experience. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's not like they're going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not like that.
They got a couple more years that they can roll with this core.
Well, for sure. The Blackhawks won't spend a ton of time here winding down. Maddie, how many games do the Blackhawks have left? Do you know?
I don't. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head like that. I don't know. It's one of those. They're definitely towards the end. Usually it's like I don't know. They probably have 4 games left, 3 games left.
Okay,
I think
24, 35, and
like
11 is where they sit right now.
So that's 59,
70.
70. So it'd be 12 more games then.
Yeah. So getting towards the end.
82. There you go. It's just that team. Talk about just like all hope is gone. Like that, all hope's gone for a while with that team. Unless they somehow, hit a home run in the draft here. But I think
they're not one player away.
Well, for sure, and they're not. I think I'm pretty sure their first rounder this year is only top 2 protected or top 3 protected, something like that. So
And right now,
we
they
rough.
are the 7th worst team in the NHL record or points wise. So
In this, well, they're 7th in their division too, so it's like,
yeah, not good.
whatever. No, the whole thing too with Taves, where it's just like he seems miserable to be there, and the Hawks kind of seem miserable, and they're at 70 games, so what, they got 12 left. Yeah, whatever. Get through the end of this season and see what you can do in the offseason to build around these guys.
No, for sure. Also, this weekend, the Masters. We're going to have to throw it to our guy, Pigoy. He is the golf master around here, and throw it to him to cover the Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia this weekend.
All right, what's up, guys? Got some Masters plays for you for the 2022 Masters tournament. We'll start with the outrights. Again, if you want to see the entire breakdown of the card and how I'm betting everything, you can go to our main page at typical_Chicago for all that information as far as how I'm betting each market. But the big card here is Justin Thomas 13-1 starting it off. Big Justin Thomas week this week. Think he has a really good shot to win. So we're going to play him outright and a couple other spots as well. So we got JT 13-1, Morikawa 22-1, Daniel Berger 36-1, Sam Burns 37-1, Louis Oosthuizen 40-1, Adam Scott 50-1, and Mark Leishman 70-1. So those are the outrights there. The top 10 is going to be Justin Thomas at plus 110. Again, I think he has a great chance to have a good showing this week, so we're going to take him there as well. Top 20, Xander, Daniel Berger, and Adam Scott. Our head-to-head markets, we got 6 head-to-heads. We've got Colin Morikawa over Victor Hovland, Xander over Will Zalatoris, Louis over Bryson. Bryson is just in not great form right now. If you watched him last week at the Valero, he couldn't hit the map off the tee, so I just think we'll take the better ball striker there as well. So we'll take Louis over Bryson. We've got Corey Connors over Russell Henley, Brooks over Rory. That's a good price too at plus 130. If you can find anything in the plus money range there on Brooks, go ahead and take that as well. And then we've got Adam Scott over Tony Finau. Just again, the last two guys are just not in great form right now with Finau and Bryson. So we're going to take Adam Scott over Tony Finau, past champ versus a guy who just is not great form right now. And then our first round leaders, these are fun bets, just kind of throw stuff at the wall, hope it sticks. Jordan Spieth, Xander, Zalatoris, Bubba Watson, and then our long shot is Tom Hoagie at 95-1. Good ball striker, hits a lot of greens. Maybe he can get something going, post a good number, and see what happens. And then we have a couple of miscellaneous props. We've got Bryson and Finau to miss the cut, both at good plus money odds there. Again, just two guys not in great form, so we'll try to see if they can't, have a bad, Thursday, Friday, and miss the cut. And then I have a hole-in-one prop here. Since 2019, there have been 4 hole-in-ones, 3 of them coming on the hole number 16 in the final round. So I found a prop at BetMGM. If you want to bet a hole-in-one yes in round 4, you can find it at plus 125. So we'll take a little shot on that and see if we can get a hole-in-one in round 4. So that is the card. Again, go to typical_Chicago on Twitter. Find the big breakdown of how I'm betting everything there. And good luck. Let's cash some tickets.
Shout out Pigoy. Always look forward to the Masters. I'm very excited, again, to be off of work tomorrow. I get to watch first round. Tiger's back, obviously. But, Zach, you made a point earlier. You don't really get into the gambling side of golf. Matt, you as well till, Saturday, Sunday-ish? Is that where you guys kind of start to jump in? Or?
That's usually where I try to, that's where I probably throw a little more out just because I hopefully have a little bit of a feel who I think is, playing well, who's doesn't look rattled, who's kind of, who's been hot in the last few weeks and maybe riding a wave, that kind of thing. Just kind of putting all of it together. You'd like to have a little more data because you never know. Just someone shits the bed in the first round, and they're just not going to come back and win the tournament. Right. So I'd like to see where people are at a little bit. You lose some odds, but still, I mean, you can catch in a third round. You can catch a 500, 600, 700 pretty good chance of winning. Still that at that point in the tournament. So I did take Koepka to win. I do like him, but one of those things. And I think I mentioned before we started recording, I got him at +2, and I think now he's down to +1,800. So I do feel like I got a little bit of a bargain too. So.
For sure. I think I got Rory on an odds boost to win, and then I think I took Bryson to finish top 10 right now. But I'm kind of like you guys in that same aspect. Like, I'll start delving into it a little bit more Saturday night.
Bryson always just worries me at Augusta because he tries to
Yeah.
get the ball so damn long, and that you just can't. You're not going to.
Yeah, it's hard to get away with.
That course is not built for him.
No,
That's true.
I'm hoping
That
like
is
a Rory wins. I hope it'd be fun.
I
if
do
Rory
too, Zach.
wins. I like
I would
Rory.
love that. I would absolutely love that.
Victor Hovland's a guy I think might be. I think it might be his turn. He's one of those guys that's been in the top 10, top 15. It seems like in every tournament, not quite like fighting his way through, but he's always in the hunt, and it doesn't just seem like he makes a lot of mistakes. Seems pretty calm under pressure too. It's another guy I'll probably throw a little bit on too.
There you go, folks. Go sprinkle on it. Before we move on, we have to give a huge thank you to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. They've got the best coffee around, best coffee that you could buy on the internet. They work with our guy, Dom Frederick, Ian Happ. You know it's good stuff. Those guys are not going to consume bad
It's also
coffee.
in the new Obvious Shirts store.
Yep. And me and Zach were just out at their headquarters the other day. Phenomenal coffee. Great people.
Phenomenal.
Yes, and like you said, even better people. So make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at connectroasters. Go get you some good coffee for the upcoming baseball season. Boys, let's move into our pick threes this week. I've only got one, and you guys know I'm a Jersey head, a Jersey freak. So to prepare ourselves for this beautiful MLB season, we know that there will be some City Connect jerseys coming out here soon. But we got to look at last year's. We've only been given one so far this year, and that's the Washington Nationals. So we're going to have to pick three of last year's, the 2021 MLB City Connect jerseys. Does anybody want to go first?
So I just going to go with three of them.
Yep, give me your top three.
Am I going to go off of these? Because I don't really know any of the rest of them.
No, these are the only ones they released. They did not do one
really?
team last year.
Oh, okay. So I will go Wrigleyville. I do like the South Side. And then what's the bottom left?
That's actually Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do those three. I don't really get why the Boston's yellow.
That is the Boston Marathon colors.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, Zach, I'm sorry, my headphones cut out. Which three did you pick?
Wrigleyville. Kind of like that one. Southside. Actually, take it back. I'm not. I'll do it. I'll do Wrigleyville, Southside, and then I'll do the Arizona Diamondbacks.
All right, Matt. Which ones are you taking?
I agree on the Diamondbacks. I like the Serpientes is great. The champagne color is outstanding. And then I'm going to stick with Boston and Miami. I like the yellow and I like the orange for a little bit of color pop.
Good choices. And if you remember right, the Dodgers ones, they actually wore the same color blue pants with those, kind of like the Cubs did with the Wrigleyville. I'll stay away from Chicago. I'll give you my three. I also really like that Diamondbacks one. That's a phenomenal color. I'm actually going to go with the Giants. I love that sleeve with the Golden Gate Bridge on it. Not super crazy about the gradient G, but that's I like a good white and orange mix. And then I will also go with Miami. I think that's a good color scheme, good pinstripe. The Boston one's not bad though. I'll be honest. It's also a jersey color combination you don't see super often. So the only one
I'm not a fan of the Sox script. I like the color, like the black with that white pinstripe looks awesome.
Yes, I agree. That weird like old English south side.
I really want the Diamondbacks one.
That would be my fourth. Would be the White Sox one, only because I would pick a different script. I think the Diamondbacks one is sick.
Yes,
Sweet.
I got to get one of those. I do like that a lot. I'll be honest, I don't like the Dodgers one very much.
Me either. It's
I
just
don't
like
think
it's so basic.
yeah,
The Cubs is pretty basic too.
yeah, I wasn't super crazy about the Wrigleyville one when it first came out.
So which one have they released, Boomy?
They released the Washington Nationals, and I'm not crazy about it. They are it's like dark steel gray, and it's got pink poppy flowers all over
So
it. Like,
will the Cubs not have one this year? Are they
I
only
wouldn't
doing, like,
count on it.
certain? I'm guessing they're only going to do like if they only did what was that? 7 of
7.
them. They're probably going to do 7 different teams this year.
Yeah, I would assume you're not going to see any duplicates.
But you probably also look at where
You're gonna want the teams that sell.
Yeah, what cities
Yep.
sell the most. And Chicago,
Right.
always going to sell. Dodgers, always going to sell. Boston, going to sell.
I would put a lot of money on either one of the New York teams, and the Los Angeles Angels, I think, are going to get one this year. They're obviously, Shohei, and then they're different pickups. But I think those 3 might be a lock. And like you said, with the White Sox being as good as
New York would make sense to do the same thing they
Yes.
did with Chicago, where they crosstown, teams, whatever.
For sure. And probably, you'd probably get a team out of Texas. The Rangers, I don't know, but the Astros,
You could do a sick one with the A's too, in my opinion, with like either the green or the yellow.
Except for, I agree, Matt, but that owner doesn't deserve any extra revenue. So
It's true.
We'll use that baseball talk to jump into our MLB season preview. We got the Cubs opening up today in Chicago against the Brewers at 1:20.
I'm excited, boys. I understand there's been a lot of whatever going on in the off season and not a lot of expectations for this team. But guess what? The season's here. The lineup's not. It's pretty good. I think this lineup is a pretty good lineup. I'm not going to say it's going to go win you a World Series, most likely. But this is a good lineup if they do it right. I mean, you got the DH now. I don't know. The pitching, the back end of the pitch rotation is going to be tough. But I love to see Justin Steele in there. I love to see him in there at number 2. That means they have confidence in him. And then Stroman, who me and Boomy will actually see on Saturday. So we might, unless they don't play Friday. Which I'll see. It'd be cool to see Justin Steele too. But I'm excited. I'm not saying like there's a ton of expectations, but I'm going to go into this season excited to watch baseball. I love watching the Cubs. It's one of my favorite things to do is get it on almost every single day throughout the season. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that realistically right now looking into it, I mean, I want this team to compete for one of the expanded playoff spots, whether they make it or not, whatever. The
division isn't crazy great either. I mean, the Brewers are good. The Cardinals are good, but it's not like I don't think they're gonna run away with it.
I think the Cardinals might win this division by. That's a good point, though. Now that I think about it,
I'm not saying the Cardinals aren't going to win the division, and or they're maybe not going to win, or they're going to be pretty good. But I'm not saying there's a lot of maybe things that could go on in the league. I don't know. I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in the middle. I think that, you compete for, as long as you can, you stay in it. It kind of sucks. We started this podcast. We were right in the middle of, expecting another World Series. And now we're like, man, I really hope, we can, maybe push 85 wins and, give someone hell in the first round and then let them.
Jesus, that 85 would be outstanding for this roster, in my opinion.
What do you think of this?
I saw them projected in the 70s.
Yeah, I think 72.
Yeah.
But like the reason I said that is because what's the number you think they got to get into that, that expanded playoff spot?
80s probably. Oh no,
okay.
The expanded playoff spot probably high 70s.
Okay.
Low 80s.
No, you're gonna need to be at least 500.
So that would be
low 80s.
At least 81,
low
81.
Yeah, low 80s.
I'm gonna say 84 gets you in.
Okay.
If they get 85, they're in. I'm gonna say that's your benchmark. That's what
But
you
the
got to shoot
problem
for.
is there's a
I
division
don't think
out
this is-
west who might have 3 teams trying to be in
That's what I'm
that.
saying. Them but the East is damn good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's just saying it's the National League is very good, especially
I think
you add
I think
on
both
the DH.
I think both the West and the East have 3 teams that would win. Each of those divisions have 3 teams that would win the Central. in my opinion.
Yes, I think that's an
See,
accurate
that's what I'm trying to
statement.
say. That's what I'm also saying, though. I think that of all the divisions in the National League and maybe even baseball, it's one of the weaker ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
there for the taking. For a team to get have one of those magical years, it's there for the taking. That's for sure.
So I just
For
hope it's
sure.
enjoyable, fun to watch. Opening day is always the best.
Opening days, it's the dawn of a new season.
Yeah, we're
man. It's
0-0.
the
You
best.
win. You go. We're 1-0.
You just hope like by June 1st, you're not like
Yeah.
14-20.
You know
Yeah,
what's
you
sad
really
too? Like even saying how good of seasons we've had in the past, a lot of them haven't started off very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true. That is true. Yeah, you hope by June 1st you're not like scouting out South Bend Cubs tickets
Isn't
just
it
so you
crazy
can go
they-
see some prospects.
Iowa Cubs are gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Brennan Davis in the 2 spot, PJ Higgins. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that, the hope of, picking up Stroman and Suzuki, I'm a big fan of. I'm not holding, I don't think he's going to come in here and be Ichiro or anything like that, but, kind of that new hope of things. And, there's some prospect. There's not a ton of prospects coming up, but Brennan Davis, you
Hey,
hopefully
he
see
could have
him at
picked.
some
He could
point.
have picked any team in the league, and he picked the Cubs. That's good for the
That
Cubs.
is true. That is true. But just tempering expectations, and but at the end of the day, it's baseball every day, and let the chips fall where they may. On the other side of town, a little bit different expectations. We're going to throw it to Twitter Sox fan extraordinaire. We got Brian Knights on the show to talk about the White Sox and what we expect out of their season in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest to welcome to the podcast this week. He was most recently the winner of the 2022 108 tournament of the best White Sox fan on Twitter against some fierce competition. You'd be hard-pressed to find a bigger White Sox fan than this guy right here. He loves the Southsiders and sees nothing but red as well. So big Bulls fan. He's on Twitter at Brian Knights3. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Knights. Brian, how are you doing, my man?
Hell of an intro. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Man, shoot. Baseball season is here. We got this is great. It doesn't matter the weather outside, snow coming, whatever. Life's great.
Best time of year.
Amen.
You still riding a high from the 108 championship?
It's died down a little bit, but we get to call ourselves champ for a year. So the first few days, it was like, I can't believe I fucking won that. But now it's settled in a bit. And we're the champ.
Being a competitive person, any type of win, especially in a tournament like that, is just awesome.
It got the juices flowing, especially when the polls were as close as they were in those final 2 matchups. It was like October baseball. It was unbelievable stuff.
I felt like you were actually in March Madness basketball.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
Instead of losing everything like I usually do.
But for those who don't know, what is the 108 tournament?
This was like the 5th year, I think it was, and it's just the From the 108 guys do a fantastic job with it. Running a Twitter tournament of White Sox Twitter personalities and just a bunch of polls. Beefloaf does a great job racking out the bracket, and it's just you fire off content, and that tends to get you wins. You don't fire off any content, you tend to get smoked. So
because it's strictly a Twitter poll. So if you don't get the tweet out there with some kind of exposure every so often, your tweet's gonna get lost in Twitter.
Yeah, you tweet the poll once in the morning and nothing else the rest of the day. You're cooked. So you got to feed it with some videos and good stuff like that to try and get the people that aren't already your core audience to vote for you. And
you were on vacation. You were on vacation, so you had a beautiful background too.
Yeah, for the first round, I was in the Dominican, so that
that's awesome.
That definitely helped with the drunk content.
And so obviously we're talking here in, early April, late March. You got a banner at least on the way that you can hang in the rafters because banners fly forever. You got something coming in the mail to commemorate the win.
We got the statue on top of the Bean T-shirts that dropped mid tournament, so those will always be, I guess, tied to the win. And we're waiting on a trophy to get shipped from My Sox Summer, so we'll see what the trophy looks like. I have absolutely no idea. Hopefully, it rivals My Sox or Summer of George's Squirrel from last tournament, and I can't wait to see what it is. Fired up.
You also gave away a Latos signed baseball.
I did. I still have it. I have to ship that out. But yeah.
See, that's how you win tournaments like this.
My guy Pat's getting a statue on the Bean shirt and a Matt Lato signed baseball.
What more could you ask for?
Invaluable.
1 in a million.
Yeah. It's just a random batting practice ball from whatever year he was on the team.
Yeah, that feels like that was forever ago. But I got to ask, Brian, so you got, I wouldn't say all of, but a lot of your notoriety with the post-game videos. What made you decide to start doing post-game after White Sox games? What got you into that? Was it just a place to just, vent or fire off ideas? How'd that start?
It technically started with the Bears because it was like I think it was 2018. 2018 on like Snapchat, I just like was bored in my dorm room and just started making like Bears videos post game, and people started to like those just on Snapchat, and then so I started doing White Sox ones at the same time, basically like just bored in the dorm room. Let's talk Sox, and then I transferred it over to Twitter, and it took off. So that's basically it. Started off basically as a joke in a dorm room because I was drunk, and it turned into this. So it's pretty good.
That sometimes seems how the best ideas start.
Yeah, I mean, you had I had the great setup there at Western, games on all the time, and I was like, what else am I gonna do? Let's talk sports, and people liked it, got good feedback from just some assholes from high school, and so we turned it on Twitter, and I don't know, we're 5,100 followers now, so
the rest is history.
Pretty good start in a year and a half or so.
That is awesome. Like you said, they're widely entertaining. But did you think when you started doing these that anything was going to happen with it, or did you just do it for the hell of it?
No, I was just doing it for fun, and I mean, I'm still doing it for fun. It's just people for some reason like to listen. So, yeah, I mean, it started as like shits and giggles. Let's just see if this works, and it did. So we're just going to keep on rolling with it. And if people didn't, I probably still do it because it's fun to me.
And it's like,
awesome.
Even like you said, even if people didn't listen to, like, you're obviously, as big of a diehard as there is out there. It's a place for you to, celebrate the wins and vent the losses. Like you said, even if no one's watching it, it's got to be a good place for, a diehard like you.
Yeah, it's a way for me, like, going back to last season, like, if it was a middle of the game, 2:00 game in May, I wouldn't, like, there would be no way to remember that, like, in October. But now that I have all these videos, I can like look back and find like the cool moments from the season and look back on them, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
So like, especially like kind of predictions and stuff throughout the seasons, and like explaining this how what they need to do to get better and stuff. Like that's cool to like be able to look back with your videos.
Yeah, it was like late July of last year. I said start placing your Luis Robert MVP bets for next season, and now everyone's hammering future bets. So predictions work sometimes.
So game gets over with, you just pull the phone out and that's what happens? It's all on the phone?
Yeah, pretty much. Just whip the phone out and selfie style video and throw it up. Sometimes it takes one take, sometimes it takes 25. It just depends.
Gotta respect it, man. Well, let's get into it while we're here. The White Sox season kicks off right here this week. What are some things, we'll get into some of the things you're concerned about here in a minute, but what are some things that you're looking forward to the most with this White Sox team that a lot of people are picking to be playing deep into October and November?
It's the same as it always has been. It's just you're looking for these big name guys in the core to put up numbers and lead this team to a World Series, because that's what we're here for. We're here in the World Series window to win a World Series. You can't waste this opportunity. And Luis Roberts is the best baseball player I think I've ever seen, at least in a White Sox uniform. He's incredible. So I need a full 162 of him healthy because he's going to do unbelievable things. Jose Abreu is arguably one of the most consistent first basemen in all of baseball since he came into the league. Tim Anderson's a superstar. The pitching staff, we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of big names here that as long as they can stay healthy, it's going to be incredibly fun to watch.
Is it World Series or bust for you this year? Do you look at it, here in early April and kind of look at it that way, or just let it play out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year was the first year where it was like, okay, this team can make a World Series, maybe not World Series or bust because they hadn't won the division yet. But now I think it's World Series or bust. Let's ride.
Yeah, with the roster that they have, with the talent that they have, and the experience that those players already have in the league, there's nothing you want more than a World Series with that team. And I think are their best odds at least to win the American League right now.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I have them to win the World Series at plus 1,100, and I think that's plus 1,000.
The only team I could see them being behind maybe would be the Dodgers in World Series odds, just because talking from a National League team, that Dodgers team is insane. But what are your concerns about this team?
I think right now it's probably the starting pitching because you have Lucas Giolito, who is going to be what he is. I mean, he's incredible. He could probably get a little better, get higher up there in the Cy Young votes. Dylan Cease, I think everyone's expecting a massive season out of him. Kopech, kind of a question mark. You don't know how much work he's going to get in there. Lance Lynn's now out till June, so that's a problem. I do like the Johnny Cueto signing, so that's good. Other than that, there's a lot of question marks past Giolito and Cease right now. So
yeah.
Were you looking for maybe a little bit more, getting a little bit more out of some starting pitchers this offseason more than the White Sox went out and got?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on in the offseason when Robbie Ray was getting thrown around, you wanted to go get him. You wanted to bring back Rodon. Neither of those happened. And then recently, I think they definitely could have beat out the Padres for Manaea, but didn't make that trade happen. So a lot of missed opportunities free agency-wise or trade-wise to try and build the middle to back end of this rotation. But we'll see what happens. These are our guys, and we're riding with them.
Yeah, at this point, you have nothing. It's not like you said with the rotation or whatever, but I think with the offense, you can almost look over that a few games, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if Dallas Keuchel goes out there and gives up, I think he's not going to be as bad as he was last season. I think he'll fall somewhere in between last season and his first year with the Sox, and maybe be like a 4 ERA guy. But if he can do that and keep them in ball games, we'll be fine. All these pitchers need to do 3, 4, 5 runs. The offense, they're not going to drop 10 every night, but they have the capability to definitely do that.
Right. And then, like you said, to 3, 4 runs, if you can keep it in there, like I don't think asking 5 or 6 every night out of this offense is too crazy to ask for.
Yeah, I mean,
like you said,
there was points last season where they went through incredible dry spells offensively. So as long as those don't happen to where there's going to be slumps, but as long as those don't happen at the same time the starting pitchers are getting their teeth kicked in, then I think we'll be all right. Tread water until Lance Lynn gets back, and then just absolutely skull fuck everybody.
Go ahead, Boomy.
So with all of you talk about personnel, how do you feel like these early spring training injuries, these preseason injuries, do you think they're going to have a long term, or do you think Lynn is about as obviously you don't want to have to wait till June, but do you think a lot of these preseason injuries are going to have a huge effect on the success of the White Sox this year, or they're just going to be able to get through it?
I don't think so. I think it's last season. I think losing Eloy as long as they did, and then Robert going down pretty early on, I don't see that unless that happens again.
Right.
Then we're screwed. But I mean, I don't see Lance Lynn being out until June being a major factor here. I mean, it's not like he tore his ACL. I mean, it's a meniscus. He should be able to bounce back fine off that. The one that hurts the most right now is Crochet being out with the Tommy John. But hopefully the bullpen moves will hold up and we'll be all right.
For sure.
I know it's like 2 games, right? That Tim Anderson is suspended for.
Yeah,
the first 2 games,
right? So Friday, Saturday.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. How is the Abreu statue on top of the Bean construction project coming along?
Well, in the 108 tourney, when I started doing the Twitter Spaces to try and rally some votes, the one for the championship game, White Sox Talk joined it, and they're always tweeting that they've built the statue, and they have their little mock-up of Jose Abreu statue on the concourse. So they have step 1 done. And I was trying to negotiate a deal with them. I was like, you guys have step 1 done by building the statue. Let's work together, do step 2, and move the statue on top of the Bean. And they seemed to be going for it. They were tapping little emojis, threw me a follow back. I think we're making progress. Maybe that now I'm not up against a direct employee of their network, that maybe we can work something out and get this construction going.
Love it. Oh, so obviously with the season coming up, the division, who do you feel? I think we've heard a lot, the Detroit Tigers are still a little bit far away. With Correa signing in Minnesota, how do you feel? What's the biggest threat to the White Sox this year inside the AL Central?
I think it's the Tigers.
Already?
Yeah, I think it's the Tigers. I think the Cleveland's going to suck. I mean, they have Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez. That's what they have. And if you want to throw Clase in there, you can. But Cleveland stinks. The Royals, they're sneaky. They got a bunch of gritty guys. I think their success basically depends on if Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be as incredible as everyone appears to think he's going to be. Salvador Perez, I don't think is going to repeat what he did last season. So the Royals are probably 4th place, maybe 3rd. I'd say them and the Twins are pretty interchangeable because the Twins starting pitching is not great.
Yeah, well, it's funny you said about, the White Sox, and their offense. Like, everybody keeps saying, oh, Minnesota, like, that lineup's going to just smash. But, like, I'm like, has everybody looked and seen what Minnesota's pitching rotation looks like? Because it is incredibly bad.
Yeah, their pitching rotation is awful. I mean, it depends. Their offense, you never know, because everyone said their offense was going to do that last season, and then they just didn't.
Yeah. So
if they get the Twins' offense of 2 years ago, maybe they can compete, but I don't think that. I think the Tigers are the biggest threat.
I think the Tigers are going to be a threat for a little while too. I mean, obviously, when you're picking 1-1 overall for quite a few years in a row, you're going to get some guys in there, and then obviously they go out and get Javi, and then they just pick up Austin Meadows. But I still think this is the White Sox division.
Season out of Javi, and I think a lot of their success depends on Casey Mize taking that next step. And I like the way the Tigers are shaping up here. So I could see them. I think the Sox still run away with the division, but I could see the Tigers like 9 games back in 2nd place.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
That was a perfect spot for Javi to go to with Detroit. Not much media going to be on him too much, and he can just go play baseball at 11 o'clock pretty much every single day. But yeah, I think you see that. I don't think that there's really going to be anyone this year that's going to compete with the White Sox. They said a lot of teams are kind of working towards it. I mean, they said the Twins decent, a good offense, but at some point somebody's going to have to pitch, and I don't think that they're going to have much in that category.
Yeah, definitely not.
So, Brian, I got to ask, were you born into a White Sox family? How did you become a White Sox fan, for those people who don't know?
Yeah, I was just born into a White Sox family. My mom's a Cubs fan, but she also doesn't really give a shit about sports, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, my dad, diehard Sox fan, so that's where it comes from. I'll tell you that he raised me a Sox fan, and then I just took it to a whole nother level. So
you just set the foundation.
I took what he started and one-upped him by 100,000.
It has to start somewhere, though.
Yeah.
I love that.
What where's your so everybody talks about how good the food is at the stadium. What's your go to 1-1? What are you gonna eat at the stadium if you had the choice? One thing.
One thing that's tough. I'm a
Or
big
maybe a couple. It's been a
elote.
long time since I've been there, so I need some suggestions.
I'm a big elote guy. Those never disappoint. The on a hot summer day, the club sandwiches in 109, those are incredible. They just added 3 new ones this year, so we'll see if those are good. And then they added the smokehouse place in Right Center last year, and those brisket sandwiches were pretty fire. So a lot of good options. Really cool.
Yeah. You're enticing me to get out there, man. That's for sure.
I like going to White Sox games just for the simple fact of the food. It's just, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with anything there.
No, not at all. But kind of a rougher subject, the Bulls. What's your thoughts on them? They're going to be in the playoffs. They clinched a playoff spot, but it's not looking good right now.
I mean, they stink. I mean, going into, I think, they got smoked by the Celtics again tonight, so now it's 1-14 against the top 4 teams in the East, and that one win was against the Celtics when they were 2-5. It's yikes.
Yeah, yikes is right. And Lonzo Ball, no more.
Yeah.
It's just like fake optimism, though, because, last night you clinched the division, even though it was on a loss, and the Cavaliers lose, so that's the only way you actually get it.
Yeah, it's hard to get fired up over that. I mean, it's a good building step because this group should be together for a little bit, so it's a good building step to at least get to the playoffs. But, to clinch it on a day when you're losing by 25 to the Milwaukee Bucks and you're slated to play them in the first round, it's not looking good.
Yeah, or another team you could play, the Celtics, you just get crushed by 2.
Yeah, either way, I'm expecting a pretty horrendous first-round exit here, but it's tough to have eyeballs to see red around here now.
Yeah, especially with Lonzo being out. I really didn't believe it until he put it right on his Instagram, so he kind of just confirmed it right away. I was giving him a little bit of leeway. Maybe he'll be back for the playoffs, but then when he said that, I was like, oh no, that's unfortunate. But you work at the United Center, right?
Yeah, United Center for the Sox.
How'd you get that?
My family runs the first aid company, Windy City EMS, that we have the contracts to the United Center and the Sox. So
that is awesome. I know
sweet.
You were at the Eric Church concert. My sister was at that. She said it was amazing.
Yeah, that was probably the best concert I've ever seen. That was a good one.
I saw him in Bloomington. He puts on one hell of a show for just being him.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell he does it, but just 3 hours continuous of no breaks was pretty nice.
I thought about how much money he must be making too, just going on tour by himself. It's just him, no opening act or anything. It's like but he's out there for 3-4 hours. It's like, I don't know how he's doing it.
Yeah, they told us that so for every concert they give us a sheet, and it's the rundown of what times things are supposed to happen. So it'd be this opener goes on at 7:15, they're done at 7:45. Next act, whatever. It's just a timeline of events. And Eric Church was supposed to go on at 8. But then they told us that he does not take the stage unless 85% of the tickets sold have entered the building, which I guess they have a way to just track that as they're scanning tickets. And so he went on at 9 o'clock and then just played until it was probably 11:50, just nonstop. It was incredible.
Wow.
That's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
What a flex, though, that he's just I'm not going on until.
Yeah, he's until my people are in the seats, the stage is going to be empty. It's a baller move. I respect it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, not many guys can pull that one off. All right, Bryce, so I've got to ask you one other question, man. Outside of yourself, people you competed against in the 108 tournament, who's your favorite White Sox person on Twitter? Or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 maybe. Who's your favorite?
Out of the whole tournament together or just the people I competed against?
We could go the whole tournament all together.
Okay. You got to throw White Sox Dave in there, but that's just by default. So he's not even in the tournament. So that's a given there. I love Kenwell. Just the way he starts shit. That's incredible. Buzz, I faced off against Buzz. He's a funny dude. Got to give a shout out to Zoe, fellow Hickory Hills guy.
For sure.
A lot of good people in White Sox Twitter, that's for sure.
I'll be honest, like we've talked, we're Cubs fans, but like knowing and being in the space a little bit, getting to know more and more Sox people, like there are, like you said, there's some, just really good minds that it's every fan base, but like you see it more because it's right here, and just as passionate as it comes, and guys and girls, that know the team like the back of their hand, like yourself, and it's always fun to see people who are passionate about something, and there's definitely a very good group of that.
Yeah, I'm not deep into Cubs Twitter at all. Is it anything near what we do or no?
No, there's big personalities or whatever, but there's nothing like that. There could be a whole, I don't know, like tournament out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And like
I do have to say that. I mean, it's not like this big community per se.
Yeah, like I follow like the big accounts like Dom and
there's like Dom and Carl and stuff like that, but there's no there's not like I wouldn't say there's a community of Cubs Twitter.
Well, you guys aren't looking off a 128 person March Madness bracket.
No.
Oh no, I don't think that would. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think it would happen.
No,
yeah,
really, that would not be.
If Carl wasn't in it, I think Dom probably runs away with that thing, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's our guy. But like,
it just shows you. It just shows you like the loyalty of the fan base too, and like of the White Sox fan base, and just like how crazy it can be in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, we're a rowdy bunch. I mean, that's pretty much how it starts. I think you just.
Well, yeah. See, that's the problem. Cubs fans can't tailgate.
Yeah, we can't tailgate anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the Sox are trying to crack down on that too, so we'll see. But
you guys are like, for the most part, you guys like everybody in that tournament fairly gets along, or they're like fractions that like go off against you, like a gang mentality, or how does that work?
There's people that start shit, but I think overall the normal faction of White Sox Twitter, at least the part that I'm part of, everyone seems to get along nicely. Everyone seems to love each other. It's like during the championship game, I was getting shit from like a subsect of White Sox Twitter solely because of my affiliation to Barstool. So there's like that version of White Sox Twitter who I've never engaged with once. They don't follow me. I don't follow them. They're irrelevant. And like they're throwing out subtweets because my affiliation to Barstool. So like there's that version of White Sox Twitter that I just stay away from because they're not my kind of people. So, but other than that, I love everybody. So it's a good group.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us here. Guys, make sure you follow Brian on Twitter at BrianKnights3. Is there any other social medias you got to plug, Brian?
No, I'm pretty much solely Twitter. We'll see as the season rolls along. I might try to transfer it over to some other stuff just to build followings there. But as of right now, we're riding with Twitter.
Right on. And we've said like we're Cubs fans, but I wish no ill will on the White Sox. So other than the times that we play you this year, good luck this season. Good luck with the post game. And as always, man, thank you so much for joining us. It was great having you on tonight.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Take care of Nick Madrigal for us.
Oh, we will.
And good luck.
We're going to need it, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Awesome. Thank you to Brian Knights for joining us and talking some White Sox baseball. I know I've said it, I think last year, but I need to do everything I can, to get out to guaranteed rate this year. It's been a long time since I've been out there. So, and obviously he talked about it. I got some food I need to go try now. So shout out. Thank you, Brian, for coming on the podcast. It was great to have, one of the biggest Sox fans I follow on Twitter on the show. But boys, let's jump into it. We got divisional breakdowns. Who's going to win each division? Let's start off in the AL East.
AL East. I'm going to go with the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox will win the AL East. I think it's going to be a really good division. I think just like the West, I think there's 3 teams that could compete for a playoff spot, but I think that it's the Red Sox division. I think that they made some great moves.
All right, Maddie, who you got in the AL East?
I'm going to go with Toronto. I think that offense is explosive. Pitching staff's dynamite. They got Jose Barrios added
Be
to
fun.
that young stud Alex Manoah. They got
Bo
Vladdy
Bichette,
Jr.
Vladdy.
Vladdy Jr. just hitting fucking moonshots. Like Bichette's a stud. Gavin Biggio is pretty good. They just got like Alejandro Kirk's a good young prospect catcher. Like they just got talent galore. And it's one of those teams. They're gonna be hard to beat. I just think they just come at you. I think all 9 hitters are just going to be able to be a threat. So I'm going to stick with the Blue Jays there.
I'm also going with the Blue Jays. I think that Matt, you nailed it. I don't need to say a whole heck of a lot because you are spot on. I think that their acquisitions as well as I think we're in like year 2 or 3.
Kevin Gossman, Matt Chapman also. I mean, it's like, they were outstanding in the offseason with what they had. They got a good bullpen. It's, I don't know. They should be really, really tough.
But I do think, like both of you said, I think it's going to be a tight division. And, there's still, Yankees and Red Sox, I don't think are going anywhere, anytime soon.
No.
And you still got the Rays in that division. So, we're not too far removed from them playing for a World Series. So
Yankees still are going to hit too. So it's not an easy division to say the least.
Absolutely. Let's move to the AL Central. Zach, who do you got taking the AL Central?
White Sox. I think we probably all do.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty unanimous. Only threat, in my opinion, I think the Twins are dangerous, and I think Detroit could be sneaky good this year.
Yeah, that's why Brian had said that he thinks that the Tigers are the biggest threat. And we've said about it. I mean, the Twins getting Correa, but we talked about it with Brian. They have no pitching, and that's you're not going to win a division without pitching. So I think I'm the White Sox as well. Let's move to the AL West. Zach, who do you got?
I have the Mariners winning the AL West. I would love to see that. Would love to see the Mariners in the playoffs.
I
do as well. I
would love to go to a Seattle Mariners game. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I got them too. I think they haven't talked about a team with another load of young talent. They traded for Jesse Winker from the Reds too to solidify that lineup. They're bringing up their young stud Julio Rodriguez to begin the season playing center field for them. Jared Kelenic was one of the top prospects. He's back in year 2, so he should be a lot better. Couple good young pitchers they got. That Logan Gilbert's going to be a stud. So Seattle's dangerous, man. They're a hungry team.
I want to not say this, but I do think the Astros are going to win that division. But I will give you a sneaky pick on a team that I think could be a wild card team depending on health, and that's the Los Angeles Angels. Going and getting Syndergaard. The big question there to me is, can Ohtani duplicate? But there's some soft spot in my heart. I don't know what
so soft, dude. He's so soft.
But
I can't stand that guy.
I don't know. Maybe it's just long-haired guys. I don't know. I like Syndergaard, but I don't.
He's a good pitcher.
I'm not saying
he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, if Ohtani can duplicate, and I'm not even saying duplicate because doing what he did last year, I don't think is duplicatable, if that's even a word. But to hit and if he can go out and pitch well, I think they're going to be a little surprised and maybe sneak into a wild card spot. Let's move over to the National League. The National League East. Who do you guys got?
The Phillies.
Phillies. I don't hate that pick.
I have the Phillies.
All right.
They're going to be very good.
I'm going to go with the Mets. Spend. Jake DeGrom should be back like probably mid-season. You would assume Jacob DeGrom, Cy Young, multiple times Cy Young to come with Scherzer. Talk about another team that's going to be hitting too. Starling Marte added to that lineup is big acquisition for them. And I think I don't know, man. Scherzer is so to be able to pair him with DeGrom at some point this season, that's going to be
if they
electric.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will. I think at some point you gotta be careful with the ground too, and maybe be a little extra cautious right now. It'd be interesting to see if they end up bringing Conforto back. I don't know that they will or not, but he's out there still as a free agent. If he's I don't know what his health situation's like after that kind of came out some news that he was hurt like in January, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Mets.
I'm going to go with the Braves. I know, World Series champs, but I mean, losing Freddie Freeman, everybody kind of looks at like, oh, that's such a huge loss, and it is. But picking up Matt Olson in the same breath, I mean, I think that this team still, got a lot of firepower, and it's going to be a really good division. If I wasn't going to pick the Braves, I was also going to pick the Mets, and also Matt, I love that pick because there's something about an owner that is willing to do whatever and spend whatever.
They'll throw money at anything. It's not.
Yeah, I respect that so much, and you almost kind of find yourself cheering for a guy like that because you're like, man, if our owner would just throw.
I know, man. It'd be so awesome to have an owner of your team that does that. It'd be sweet.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Let's move into the NL Central. Zach, get us lead it off.
Cubs, they're going to be a miracle team this year. I love it.
I love the optimism, but
yeah, it's fun to have.
I'm gonna go with Milwaukee. I think their pitching rotation is just electric with Burns, Woodruff, Peralta. It's just good bullpen.
That's who the Cubs get on opening day. They get Burns on opening day. It's always nice to have on a cold day.
That team's very, very dangerous in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm also on the Brewers, mainly because I can't bring myself to pick the Cardinals for anything. I hope they have a horrible season. They finish in last place for like the third time since 1900. So, but yeah, like you said, Matty, I mean, Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, you still got Hader at the back end of the bullpen. I mean, they're going to be solid. They're going to be a really good team. Let's move to the National League West, arguably one of the best divisions in baseball. Zach, who do you got?
Dodgers. I don't know. Unless they have some injuries, that team is unstoppable.
That's fair. Matty?
Dodgers. Same. Zach said it. I agree with everything he said.
Just for parity here, I'm going to throw another one out there. I think the Giants are going to duplicate what they did last year. I don't know how they did it. They don't have the most talent in the world. But I think outside of the Dodgers, I think that the Giants are going to give a little bit of a concern. And I wanted to pick the Padres, but it scares me not knowing how long Tatis is going to be out. But they're still, I mean, they just dealt Manaea. But yeah, it's definitely the Dodgers division to win, unfortunately. So real quick before we move on, World Series champion prediction. Off the top of your head, Zach, who you got?
Dodgers. I know that's probably a lot of people will be picking that, but I mean, I don't know who can beat them. That lineup is insane. If they don't win, something's wrong with baseball, in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way. What I'm saying, I'm just saying that like if that lineup can't win a World Series.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Matty, who you got? World Series champ.
I've got one future out, and it's on the Dodgers. There's no hole. Yeah. They've got like 9 good starting pitchers. They've got like 10 good relievers. They've got like 38 solid hitters, and they've got one of the best farm systems in baseball. It's unreal what they're doing. And
you want to like hate their organization.
So envious.
Yeah, and then they go out and
doing it all the right way.
And then did you see like they signed? I can't remember. Was it Tolles? They re-signed him so he could continue to get his medical insurance because he's having like some mental health counseling issues, and he hasn't played since like 2019. But they re-signed him so that he could continue to get the help that he needed. It's like you want to hate a team that's that good, but like they're also doing things off the baseball field that you're like, okay, you can't hate them for that. I'll go with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are going to shock the world this year. I'm going to have to get myself a Blue Jays hat. Not super confident about it, but I just didn't want to pick the Dodgers. But they're going to shock the world this year, and Vladdy's going to hit 53 home runs. So at least. But that's our predictions. Before we wrap things up, as always, we have the TCF top 3, and in honor of opening day today. We've got our personal favorite Major League Baseball logos. No Cubs or Sox here. So who wants to get us started?
I will go first. So I have the Boston Red Sox. Old school logo, love it. I have the Pirates.
Yeah,
That's
a good one.
It's a cool one. Like it's just there's a lot to it. And then what was my last one? Oh, it was the Rockies.
Yeah, those are
like the
three
logo.
really good picks, Zach.
I like the logo. Like I said, for me, it's the visual part of it. I like what it looks like.
Yeah, and like you get a nice mix here. You get the traditional with the Boston one, you get the kind of new era with the Rockies, and then you get kind of the, out of regular color splash with the yellow and the red and the Pirates. You got to love the baseballs crossing with the Buccaneer on it. Those are three solid choices. Maddie, what are your top three?
I got the Orioles with the bird. That guy,
It's right.
wild ride. That's perfect. Just leave that. That's like the perfect. It is the perfect filter. Just leave him up for me every time. Now that's perfect.
If you're not watching this, go to YouTube, check this out, because Matt is now the official logo of the Orioles.
That's so funny.
I am the Baltimore Orioles at this point. Staying in the same division, Toronto Blue Jays. That's another good bird. Great bird. And then the San Francisco Giants, the one with the baseball, the Giants sprawled across it.
This is what I got here.
Top-notch logo, top-notch font. Yes, that's the logo right there, minus the background, which is outstanding. I'll keep it. But I like that the Giants splayed across the baseball. Like, that's sick.
Yeah, those are also very good choices.
That's so funny.
That's awesome. Oh, man. Good choices, Matt. Didn't know you were such a big bird guy until now, but great choices there.
Remember, it was me versus the bird. It was me versus the birds for a long time in the backyard.
Yeah.
Apparently, I came to a truce with them.
You became a bird.
What is the old Batman
We'll
clothes?
see.
Like
it's fucking summer's coming. It's
gonna
be me.
true.
I'm gonna be Elmer Fudd back there here soon.
Oh man, my three are. I love the Seattle Mariners logo. You got the compass. The color scheme is phenomenal. Just a big fan of the blue and I guess is it teal? It's not teal, but it's in that family. Big fan of the Mariners logo. Tealish. I like that. And then I also have the Diamondbacks. Now I know their new logo is not everybody's favorite, but to me, you get the kind of the whole family here, and I still don't think it's that bad of a logo. If we're being completely honest, it's a good color. The Diamondbacks.
Oh, sorry. Is this the one? Is this what you like?
Yeah, so I love the rattleskin looking or rattlesnake.
They have multiple, like the old school one from when was it Tony Gonzalez was playing for him?
Yep.
Was that his name? Or was it
Luis
Gonzalez?
Yep.
Luis.
The purple Diamondbacks was the best, I think.
Purple and green.
Light purple.
Yep. So I'll be honest, I think outside of Cubs hats, I own the most the team that I own the most of is the Diamondbacks, and most of them are purple variety. But even this one still, you got the almost like the snake looking thing that, or what am I trying? The tongue looking thing of the snake.
The font is cool too.
The font is great. It just and a lot of people complain about the color scheme, but that is a great Arizona color scheme in my mind.
It's red. That's what
it all makes sense. I like that one. And then also give me the Tampa Bay Rays.
I like this is my favorit one.
That's the best one.
I don't know if they use this one actually.
Yeah, they do. They brought in a throwback 3 seasons ago maybe, where they still use this one. But that is phenomenal. You get the multiple colors on it, and then you get the beautiful stingray there. That is in my all-time favorites. Any other ones that we missed here, boys?
If you're out watching this on YouTube, then you don't really get what just happened there. But
Yeah.
Matt is officially a bird.
Matty, the big Orioles fan. Who knew? So I got to ask, this got brought up on the Dog Walk podcast.
More
and
like
we're talking-
Gunu. Gotcha.
My God. The St. Louis Cardinals logo. I will not buy any Cardinals hats or Brewers hats.
Nope.
But the St. Louis Cardinals logo with the two birds sitting on the bat, where do we feel about that?
It's kind of cool.
Hell, fuck them.
Whatever.
Gross.
Matt, you guys are the
Would
two
never
exact
wear it.
parts of
I
my
would
brain
never wear
arguing.
it. I would never wear it.
It is a good logo with the baby blue. It's a good color scheme, the baby blue and red. Also, I feel the same with the Brewers, like the glove with the M and the B on it. Like, it's a cool logo, but like, I will never buy one.
Yeah, I would never buy one. No, I would never wear one.
Expos is the GOAT.
Yeah, that's fair. And I love the old school Marlins. I couldn't bring myself to put the Miami Marlins because this is my Marlins logo here. I hate their new logo, their new color scheme, everything about it, the Marlins right now. But any other ones we forgot, boys?
Think that's about it.
Well, thank you for joining in. That was episode 132. Big thank you to our guest, Brian Knights, for joining us on tonight's podcast. Make sure that you check him out at Brian Knights 3 on Twitter. You can also find us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like. Subscribe to the YouTube page for all of our content in video form. Subscribe, rate, review, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out there. Follow Zach on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF and Maddie at schools_01. You can find me at BoomyTCF. Shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to check them out and get yourself loaded up on coffee for the baseball season. But that was episode 132 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.